What's up, everybody? It's the Tabletop Tyrant. It's hella early. I've been up for a while trying to get this done, and all my recording sucks, so we're doing it again. Well, what can I say? We're talking about the Empire. Look, the Empire are in a really weird spot right now. GW's not pumping out the models for them. You can go to eBay, you can go and 3D print, those are all your options. I'm talking with this series about a beginner walking into a shop and walking out with models in their hand for Warhammer the Old World. So you're not going to get a competitive list, you're going to get a list of things that I think can be good, that are a good foundation for an army, and that you'll be able to use at a shop if you want to go and play with your friends, as this game's mostly meant for. So let's kind of talk about that. Let's talk about keeping the cost down, pros and cons, and maintaining PMA, which is positive mental attitude. Boom. So we're going to talk about the Cities of Sigmar Vanguard boxes. You'll need to get 2 of them for a 1,000-point list, and on top of those 2, you'll need to get the Wizard, the Battle Wizard, or you have to get you'll have to get the Flagellants as well. Now both those are still sold at the big G Dubs. But what do you get when you get 2 sets of the Cities of Sigmar box? You're going to end up getting 2 Great Cannons, an Empire General on mount. You can sell the other one or trade it off or whatever. And then you can get 2x5 units of Knights for your core and 20 Sword and Board State Troops. So that's not too bad of a beginner force. Like I said, this is something where you'll definitely be able to add on to it as maybe the models come back to Warhammer the Old World, and as they remake them or repackage them on their squares. One thing you're going to have to really be mindful of, you're not going to get the square bases in this. You'll have to freaking get those from somewhere else. Maybe a buddy has some extra laying around. Maybe you can buy some. You can definitely go on eBay and get bases really cheap. You can go to your local 3D printing buddy and have him print you some for a couple bucks, I'm sure. There's a lot of ways you can get 3D printed bases. Moving on. Boom. Pros to playing the Empire. So the Empire have a lot of really cool things at their disposal. I really like their war machines above all. I think the steam tank is one of the best tanks. Duh. It's one of the best war machines for the Empire, in my opinion. I think they're really good. And they're still available to purchase. The only hard thing is squeezing it in a 1,000-point list. I found up it ate too much rare points for me. So maybe 1,200 you'll want to incorporate one. Handgunners I think are really freaking sweet. Definitely waiting for them to come back, and it'll be interesting seeing how they kind of package them. You know how they brought the 6th edition orcs back with the dual weapons and the arrows? I wonder if they're going to do that for the Empire with their old 6th edition spearmen and riflemen, where they were pretty much just one pose. You cut them out and glued them to the base. That would be cool, and I would be all about it. I used to really like those round shields with the lion heads on the spearmen as well. Anyways, they got a really cool name character called Magnus the Pious. Really big figurehead in history. Brought the Empire together. Redid like a Council of Nicaea. No, I'm not talking about the one that Magnus was present for. Well, Magnus the Red. And he really brought like Sigmar, the faith of Sigmar and the cult of Ulrich voting power and stuff within the court. So you'll see the cult of Sigmar kind of take prominence in there. And that's why, going back, I think these models are really good. The Empire's coming off the back of the Vampire Wars. They just finished fighting them. They're fractured, they're divided, religions are rampant, and the cult of Sigmar is really taking off and will continue to take off as Magnus takes the seat of whatever the heck it's called, the main dude, whatever Karl Franz is. I'm not familiar with the terminology, and it's 4 in the morning, so but yeah, so anyways, really good thing. I think a lot of this like iconography for Sigmar is good. The cannons might be a little out of place, but it's just there to give you a little feel for war machines. A big thing to remember is the future with the Empire. Right now, they have a certain meta playstyle if you're trying to chase that. I don't suggest chasing it because they're going to get their Arcane Journal, and much like Tomb Kings and Orcs and Goblins, it's going to change the way people see the list in the army and change how people bring it to the tabletop. So the future is really bright for the Empire. And then there are a few key units of note here that I want to talk about that are good. Demigryph Knights I think are freaking fantastic, and I think the steam tanks are 2 really like OP units for the Empire. You know, it sounds dumb, but I like the crossbows this edition over the handgunners. That's just my personal take. And then obviously you have the Free Guild Guard, or whatever the hell you want to call them, state troops, veteran state troops. I wouldn't mess with the veteran state troops too much. I would just take state troops. Those are just my little opinions for now. It's going to change, and I will redo this video when the Empire get done properly. So some cons to playing the Empire is the cost. So you're going to be paying Age of Sigmar prices with these models, unfortunately. There's no Empire models really out there available to buy except the little previous ones that we were talking about earlier, like the Celestine Arcanum, the Wizards, the freaking Steam Tank. I mean, the Steam Tank's good, but you can't squeeze it in a 1,000-point list, which makes it kind of unpractical. Like I said, there are no models. We're left with the unknown release date. And I do believe that when the Arcane Journal comes out, there's going to be a massive change in playstyle. So be ready to adapt to that as it comes out. You're looking at really expensive Age of Sigmar figures. Now, the one upside to those is the way the horses work. The armor gets glued on top. So you can leave the armor off to do the horse and then secure the armor in place after you've painted it. You're going to have to source bases for the Age of Sigmar stuff. It all comes on rounds and ovals. And while I'm okay playing someone with ovals and round bases, some people may not be. And you're going to have to find those. Either eBay, your local 3D printer person. You pick your poison. And then, like I said, eBay is going to be that next little devil that's just going to be roping you towards spending copious amounts of money on units you're going to need to run a decent army. How I would use the starter box. So I would give every unit a function. It's very important that when you pay for a model or you pay for a unit on the tabletop in terms of points, not money, you have a purpose for it to fill out. Now, that 20-man brick of troops I'm going to use to kind of go tie something in and then use my knights to flank and give me that rank bonus, that flanking bonus. Focus fire the cannons. So a big thing, those cannons are going to have some good kaboom boom. You're going to want to focus that on your friends' monsters or anything that they're kind of bringing on the table that's running independent of itself. So any type of monster that's out there, you can just hit the cannons, call it a day, do those damage, and you'll be laughing. Make sure you keep in mind your arcs. Like I said before, use your knights to flank to support the Empire state troops. With the flagellants, I would actually use them as support. So I would charge in with knights and keep my flagellants nearby to just kind of hit that, to close the flank and deal with that. For magic, I would take the battle magic. It's cool, it's thematic. I like Fireball. I think it's a good one. And you can't really go wrong with it. And those are just like a little bit of like the down and dirty of how I would use those sets to my advantage in the game. A last little note here is to stay positive. The army's going to get redone. They will get an Arcane Journal. They're going to get the support they deserve. And then they are still one of the main factions in the rulebook. Just the key thing for the Empire right now is to maintain having fun and just enjoying yourself. It can be a really big negative thing. You're going out there playing games. Maybe you're getting beat. It's okay, because one day when they redo the Empire, you're going to be beating your homies down, and they're not going to be enjoying it. So, like I said, maintain that positivity. Whatever you do for your models, have fun with it. Paint them, enjoy the painting, come up with cool schemes. Make your own stories as to why you would use the Sigmar bodies or the Sigmar soldiers, and call it a day. At the end of the day, you're the one spending the money on this hobby. You're the one enjoying it. Don't care what other people think. Just enjoy it and keep it within reason for the setting. You know what I mean? Everybody, until next time, have a wonderful day. It's been the Tabletop Tyrant. Peace.